So here we have an understanding once again of the tactical table. If you can imagine being the computer understands what? The tactical table, yes. It also understands everything about every player. It controls all the data. So here we have a device that can basically simulate everything. That's pretty obvious. And here we also have a device, a puppeting device, the way you do it at a human level. So we also have these other areas where we end up with buildings full of people utilizing tactical tables, utilizing special rooms, special books, categorizing everything, and understanding how to work in conjunction with all these other players who also have these, cases. It's a crucial thing of importance. By the way, these cases are enormously rare to get a hold of, by the way. You're lucky just to find a few fragments of them. So here now again we have to understand 200. Imagine 200 plus cases. Imagine a building that has 30 people that are psychiatrists. They're all working in conjunction, which means all these different 200 people are absorbing the mass amount of collective experience. The collective experience of all these other people because they're all participating together in master tactical table events. This is crucial to understand. So now we're looking at controlling everything. So humans work as a computer in some of those buildings. They control everything, everybody. Kind of, sort of, they know what all the deals are. So that building was like a big, huge tactical table, except it was a building full of mini tactical tables. So here we have master puppeting. Everybody has a price, everybody has a function, and a bunch of people were set up in business. They were deliberately set up in business. Who was set up in business? Well, Karl Marx was on the payroll of not just the spy department, he was also a syndicate member. So was Lenin, so was Joseph Stalin. So some people might remember World War II real quick, where there was this little deal when Hitler ended up splitting all of these little countries with Stalin. Yeah, they split them in half. Kind of an easy take deal. Actually, that was a deal that was basically done by some outside syndicate people. Who were they? Well, Royal German Empire people. And at first, Hitler actually said, no, I don't like communists. I don't want to do these deals with all this. But he eventually had people convince him higher up, hey, this is a good deal. We just go in, we split 50-50 on this. We just split these deals 50-50. And it's easy. Virtually nobody's going to die. This is a walk-in campaign. So he did this. Then, of course, Churchill turned around and went to Stalin and says, hey, we found information. Hitler's going to attack you. And Stalin laughed at him, and says, shook his head and laughed and says, you don't know what you're talking about. I mean, can you imagine Stalin's point? He's like, this guy doesn't have a clue what's going on. I'm on two payrolls. I'm on the RGE payroll, and I'm a syndicate member as well. Yeah, I'm a spy and I'm a syndicate guy. And we've all been doing business here, cutting up people. I've killed 70, 90 million people to do this deal and overthrow Russia. Sent these products all over the world, worked with all these teams and players to do all these deals, and here comes Churchill, says Hitler's going to stab me in the back, and I just made a big split deal, multiple countries, and split them in half. This is just totally humorous. Yeah, Okay, let me go back out and talk to Churchill for a minute. Yeah, Churchill, you just have no idea. You don't know what you're talking about. So, after Hitler actually attacked, Stalin was apparently shaken. He stayed in his room for a week, because he had to think about it. immediately and go, "What really happened?" He was in shock, said to be in shock as was actually happening, as the reports were coming in, that the Germans were coming in further and further. And he was in shock. These are the various statements that someone's got. He was also afraid, Stalin. At this point, he'd be afraid because he's wondering, I've been betrayed, I'm knifed in the back. Everything that I thought was important, that I knew my whole life, that was connected to everybody, to Lenin, to everything, just went out the window. How could my good buddies, Royal German Empire and Syndicate people, how could they not warn me? How could they not control this situation when I've been working with them, doing their bidding all along? They made me. They made me. Isn't this amazing? So the interesting thing here as we move along on all this is that we're in trouble, people. We're in big, big trouble, because we're different in the United States. See, we're different. I just talked about the master puppeting, but guess what? We had our sample. We got our wonderful sample of who was doing what and when, and we got to see what that was. We got to see what that stuff was for sure, beyond the shadow of a doubt. So here we have things that we understand. And we have people that are in this huge denial about how the Royal German Empire basically infiltrated doctors' organizations, universities, and they had different policies. Obviously it was good. Can we convince people to be dummies, man? Yes. Donate all of your hard, valuable work for nothing. It's for mankind, as they are going to resell it and make a fortune at it. So we have a bunch of people that are brainwashed. They're being constantly used like they're toilet paper. Right now we have a situation. I just listened to a nice Bernie Sanders speech. He's scared to death of AI. It's wonderful. And he talks about all these different statistics, and I stop and I pause and I talk and I say, by the way, that statistic also suggests something else. It suggests that there are no futures. 100 million jobs. His fresh deal, there's 100 million jobs going to be lost. That's amazing. I was talking about different statistics like that 25 years ago. Long time back, And it looks like some of my different occasional lectures that I put out actually got referenced by some people and included into some serious consideration, because I'm probably, Google says I'm the source code on certain items. I'm the very first historical reference on a whole lot of items. It's kind of weird. See, they use their search engine and for data, and what do you do on a search engine? Well, patent and copyright. See, when I would go for patent and copyright, to do this, you need to be able to use what? The search engine. See, this is why some of us are really paranoid. We don't want anybody to get a hold of our search data. Why? Well, we're researching certain engineering things and whatnot because we're patenting and we're copywriting things. So that search data ends up becoming important. It's still there, So there's all these other interesting pieces of fragments of information, things like contacts I made with the government here and there, little things like letter from Michael Crosby. Contents missing, deemed classified. Ah, yes, let's even save the envelope because that letter was a whopper. This is a good one. Yeah, that's history. Hi, how you doing? Name's Mike Crosby. Again, I'm running for governor of California. Now, we have another problem here, people. It's very important. I have this archive. I've lost an entire fleet of vehicles that have been attacked by people, mass demographic attacks, ordering people shut down, adding a lot of extra blacklisting and theft, a lot of extra coordinative effects to do mass demographic sabotage. Weaponization. Yes, weaponization. That is exactly what has happened. And a lot of people are laughing at our good president, Mr. Trump, that he talks about things being weaponized. Well, the reality is, yes, things have been weaponized. So we have this problem with Newsom and various other parties. We have Julie Su. We have also Shirley Weber, who has participated in blacklisting. I mean, think about it. Blacklisting other candidates from getting on the ballot. Telling people, oh, it's been decided. Well, we're not allowing any more people on the ballot. You know, Democrats going up and, oh, we're being told that there's too many Democrats, you have to withdraw, or we're not going to allow you to run, or whatever. What is this? It's an election process, right? So we have Newsom, we have a recall election, and I get blacklisted from getting on the ballot. Why would that be important? Now, the thing is regardless of whether or not Newsom would have been recalled, see, they said, oh, well, it could cause us points. It might actually make it pass if you run. And I'm like, I don't see it that way. My analysis isn't that way. And me running is me running. Okay, I'm an emergency backup in case California needs another candidate to become governor. Okay, and it's my right to run. But they said no. That's right, people. They said no. They blacklisted me from being a candidate. So I declare and say, look, I'm a candidate anyhow, but then we have these people here that are blacklisting. Treason. Treason. This is important to understand. So as you have these different people doing things, this big demographic attack has other things happen. What happens? I have people doxing me. I have people attacking 8 different locations. Mobile archives coming under attack. I have people shooting at me. You try to report things and people are like, oh, yeah, sure, yeah, there's a violence problem. Okay, people, let's get with this right now. Is there a violence problem? Is there actually a problem with doxing and violence? Yes, there is. Yes, there is. And this has been something that has been evolving for quite a while, for a very long while. And there's a lot of people out there that are victims. Now, attack upon an archive is treason. Okay? Attack upon a candidate's camp, that disqualifies parties, according to the articles, from holding office, running for office. Ever. They're not even allowed to vote anymore. You see, this is a big item. It's attack on an archive. We're not talking about, well, it's a late book to the library. No. We're talking about multiple archives. We're talking about 34 vehicles. We're talking about a fleet, an entire fleet of vehicles. So I can talk about the fleet a whole lot. Yeah, these were archives. We're talking, put it this way, just imagine what a dozen RVs would look like running around the LA freeway system. Okay, that's like 1 million people a day would see that, right? Yeah, okay. So having Wi-Fi and introducing people to a brand new Wi-Fi system, have that wonderful, 2-mile, maybe 5-mile range of Wi-Fi. I had a radial 2-mile range with one of the units, and I was going to upgrade all of them to that. So yeah, I was going to be able to help people with anything that was wrong in their life. See, I was working on a series of prompts. I'd been working on them for decades to help them make AIs work right. And I was going to bring little tiny AIs to help people organize stuff. Little tiny ones, that would help they'd be very helpful. And then upload all that data. You see, if I couldn't get online direct access, I was going to upload it when we went back to the main base and basically work with the most incredible, most powerful computers that were out there. Now, originally, 5 major companies was what I'm thinking of. But, things have been taking off here recently a lot. Now it's closer to 9, So, yeah, I mean, can I do it remotely with some of what they got? Yeah, sure, as long as the web don't break down. So that's why the units that I had were designed to run autonomously. See, it wouldn't matter if the web broke down. You see, foreign people couldn't shut down and jam people's devices because they would run autonomously. So people would get to access all kinds of important information about all these things about permastock, all these things about who's included, how it works, what can be done with it, how it works so people can do something, build a brand new future. It deals with people's lineage that goes back to the Great American Land Purchase. The Great American Land Purchases. So we have all these other understandings of everything else that would be included in these deals, how it would work. The most comprehensive recovery plan ever developed in the history of the nation. In fact, the history of the world. The mainframes have my economic system being the most advanced in the history of the world. So, from a national security standpoint, what do you think's going on when people are engineering mass demographic weapon systems? Would these people be violating national security? Let's think about this, people. Real quick history. Great American Land Purchase. The government stepped up and says, we got no money. We want the people to bail us out. Tell you what, we got a great idea. We can't go door to door. That's too expensive. Let us just pass this temporary tax. We already have a voting mechanism in place. It's the one thing we have in place. Just agree to a temporary tax, and that will be you buying stock. You'll get residuals, a portion on the minerals. You'll get a portion of the dividends, the deals we do with other countries or companies to bring them in. Yeah, you'll have staking rights for land. You'll have mineral staking rights as well. Yeah, and you'll have that stock, so you'll be stockholders. Well, gee, what happened there? That didn't quite work out. In fact, did you know that historically we seem to be missing a whole lot of very important documents? This is crucial to history. See, something happened. We had the War of 1812, and the British came in and decided to confiscate a whole bunch of documents and put them on ships and send them back to Britain. Did you know that most of those ships sank? Yeah, they sank in the ocean right off the coast of, right off the East Coast. Yes, we had some wonderful, happy, helping hands from foreign countries show up and send some of those ships to the bottom. Some of them made it, though. Some of them made it to Britain, and guess what? The British decided to gather up things that they were going to call evidence. They were going to use it in the treason trials, but it didn't quite work out that way. So hidden still in Britain are key important documents. Key important documents of how our forefathers did certain things. A very magical period in history of the most brilliant economic balance plan. The Republic merged with an East Indies style company where some of our forefathers ran around supercharging the economy, guaranteeing to buy everything that some people could make. People were screaming, "Why are you building all of these warehouses?" Later on, somebody comes in and says, please tell us that you bought a bunch of cannons. We have no cannons and the British are coming. And yet people turn around and go, well, yes, we have 300 cannons. You know where are they? Well, they're hidden over here. Oh, thank God, we won the war. Oh, my God, we won the war. They were happy. Oh, my goodness, they were so happy. And then they found out later on that a whole lot more cannons were purchased. Yeah, they were ingenious. They'd go down down to the docks. The guy's coming. We want to, Captain, we want to book your ship every passage, both ways for the next 5 trips, guaranteed. Oh, well, why would me my incentive for doing that? We'll pay you twice the going rate. Twice, you say? Boy, the British won't like that. Yeah, and we want these things. Yeah, we want to buy things, And they're like, oh, well, but you're on the embargo list. We can't bring you back large saw blades. We can't get you cannons. Well, tell you what. See, we's the good Americans here now. Tell you what. See them cannons you got on your ship there, Captain? Yes. Do you see these 2 gents here? Do they look respectable to you? Respectable. Yes. These men are your witnesses. We'll send them with you. Here, they have documents for you to see. Read these documents, Captain. Yes. Understand, Captain. They are your witnesses. They saw the pirates come and steal the cannon from your ships. Now, we're willing to pay you twice the rate of new cannons for your used cannons today. So the captain kind of hemmed on and says, yeah, I guess I can do that once. That should work once. So the brilliance of our forefathers procuring what we were going to need for national defense. The brilliance. So all of these notes on all these wonderful activities are really, really rare. They're really hard to get a hold of because a lot of them were destroyed in the War of 1812. See, there's a few fragments, neat stuff in Britain, but they burned Washington, most of it. So you can go check for yourself and talk with the archive about how many documents are missing. Okay. So we had different things happen. Now, one of the things that happened it's basically we withdrew from Washington. And for a short period of time, we basically had a brand new White House. Yeah, we used Little Rock, Arkansas. It's a wonderful place. I bought a lot of computers, bought and sold a lot of stuff at auctions. I acquired a lot of rare books and documents in Arkansas. A lot of very rare objects. I also got a hold of a lot of very rare things here in California. I'm an archiver, by the way, in case you don't know. So here we have a $300 million book collection gets destroyed. We have material pertaining to my research, pertaining to national security getting stolen. And these people are in mass dereliction of duty. They're responsible for egging people on with violence, and they're blacklisting me. We have Julie Sue use my name. Go to Washington. Yeah. Go to Washington. Hand the list over and say, yes, Congress said money was authorized to pay these people. Here's the list. Pay us. She took the money and stole it. She came back and instigated a mass blacklisting system on the phone networks, which included me, a candidate. And even though I tried repeatedly, almost endlessly, to communicate with these people, she would just not communicate with anybody that was a candidate or a business person. I tried every possible way you could imagine. She just wouldn't do it. So I got sneaky. I was curious. I got sneaky. Yeah, let me call this up. I can never get through. Let me call it. Let's try it this way. Press the button this way. Hablo no English. Express service. Wonderful. Yes, we have $30 billion still left to hand out to all you. I says, well, actually, I just wanted to get through on the line. The other ones are jammed. They're not working. They're malfunctioning. Oh, I'm so sorry. We don't have any money here for English-speaking people. The funds have been divided into sections. You'll have to wait till more money shows up for that particular fund. Blacklisting. But I'm a candidate and an archiver, and we have security problems. We have to protect information in the archive. This is causing security problems for me. I have to deal with this. But it's a mystery. The lies, what these people have done. It's treason. It's treason. These people are going to go away for a very long time. So technically they've cheated in an election. They're all disqualified, at least 7 of them. You see, because they worked in conjunction. So they're disqualified, which means other people conceded and I refuse to concede. So I'm the last person standing. So I guess I get to set up and say, well, I think that Mr. Newsom, that you need to get out of my house effective immediately. You see, there's an emergency election and you need to get out of my house immediately. You need to surrender and turn state's evidence in the hope that you won't get the death penalty for your participation in multiple acts of treason. You see, because I want to do a panel and a board, and there's a whole lot of people that I would like to invite to deal with repairing the state of California, because I want to use a whole lot of TRUECORE logic tactical table systems to undo all those intentional demographic warfare items. All that weaponized stuff that you guys have done. Jigs up. Time for you to surrender. You should surrender the building to me. You should hold a news conference and surrender to me for what you've done, because you're at risk of being held, well, found guilty on a lot of charges of treason, any one of which can get you the death penalty. You've lied, you've cheated, you've stolen. My goodness, more than 10 million major federal violations alone just against my archive. Just against my archive. Oh, the destruction, the violence, 600 pounds of glass on the ground. You know, where would I be starting my campaign with a fleet of vehicles? But for some reason, these mysterious attacks keep happening. It's just amazing. It's recorded in full 3D on SAR satellite. It's just amazing, you know. I even had some cops arrest me once, and they actually got a call in from the Pentagon before I showed up, and they says, yeah, well, we just want to know what's happening. And they go, what? Well, we were just monitoring. We noticed that Mr. Crosby was arrested, and we're just wondering, why did you arrest him? Sergeant hands the guy the phone. Yeah, look, it's not me. This is not me here. This is the phone. You talk with this guy. And he's convinced, boy, he's done something really, really bad. Well, let me see. Let's see if that's him. And a lot of time waits, they don't call back. He calls him back. Was it him or not? Oh, yeah. We're pretty sure that's Mr. Crosby, yeah. Okay, well, what else has he done? Well, as near as we can tell, he hasn't done anything at all wrong. So that, that's really the interesting thing there, Very few people understand that some of us, we get tracked. You know why we get tracked? Because we're called assets. See, when I'm an archiver and I deal with the science that I deal with, it's classified, some of it. So I'd really appreciate some people to be brave and be ready to sign up, because I am really, really ready to do these things. I've got a lot of neat things here that I want to bring out. I want to show people the difference between the current plan we have for California and the new plan that I'm bringing in. This is really important, folks. You see, here's how it works. You see, group 1, well, we paid for the land. Yeah, our folks go all the way back. Our lineage goes back. Great land purchases, so we own land, right? Right. So we're going to get our stock. We're going to issue it. Well, I've modernized that stock understanding. It's incredibly different. It makes all of us very, very wealthy. Now, it's like Social Security in a way, basically. So there's a group 2. It cuts off around World War II. Because we acquired a lot from Britain. So people who became citizens after the Great Land Purchase that did not pay for it were around paying taxes at the time of the Great Land Purchase, it says, from Britain. So This equates out into a mathematical set that, let me just explain, it works out to equivalent of $80 million valuation. Starting and within 1 year, it will be worth $5 billion, because my plan is to procure $4 billion worth of custom software. Brand new software that is going to solve something. See, we're going to solve many of our problems in business. We're not going to have to pay a whole lot of expensive money for software, as what happens around the world. What happens around the world? People steal software. They've been doing it for years. Other countries do it. So, I wrote a piece one time, an article called The $4 Billion DVD. I'm not kidding. $4 billion in software on one DVD. Some people, could you do that? Yeah, you could do that, actually. So basically, I researched it pretty heavy. Basically, you had people, certain countries, certain places. Yeah, that's what they do. They had that much stolen software, which means that people could start companies in foreign countries and have a tremendous advantage. Imagine if you didn't have to pay, 10, 50 million, $100 million for software to start your business up. Would that change your life there, lady? Just a wee. It's important to understand these things. So basically, what we do is we commission for $4 billion worth of software. Then you know what we do? Well, we own it. Lock, stock, and barrel. So you know what we do? We go copy, and we paste it to 175 million stewards. That's how many of us get to own the $80 million worth of representative stock, the land stock. Then that means versus us versus the rest of the world becomes very important. Becomes very important because now all of a sudden we have a tremendous situation where we are worth a lot more compared to the rest of the world. Because why? We've got the big, huge software start, a bunch of us. That's group one, 175 million people, if we do it federally. But it works out. So if we scale this, we start out in California, that's okay. And then we have the group two. See, group two is $10 million. That'd be another 100 million people for 275 million people total nationwide. I would just love to go over this with the president, and with certain other people and get this going, But as governor, I can scale this. Now, California has a lot of different people who don't have lineage goes back. We actually have a few people who are Hispanic. They go all the way back, way, way, way back. But a lot of them, not so much. So we're looking at maybe 57% of the people in California have a lineage understanding that your parents were citizens paying taxes in 1945. Let's call it 1950. The last finalizations of those deals of land from Britain. So if that's the case, then you're in group two. $10 million. There's a stock. We'll do a whole different software program there. We'll talk about it. Now keep in mind, group one stewards can get together and talk with group two. And the enormous group power is incredible. The plan that I've laid out for that is just mind-boggling. All the special perks, the collective buying powers of what we can do, the new construction, the new assets. It's mind-boggling. It's just mind-boggling. So this is how I can basically move the assets statistical average per citizen up 16 times for people of middle class or less. See, for some people that are already billionaires, that's just not going to matter. And it's kind of strange. You'll get to understand what it's like to have $1 billion in assets, billions of dollars in assets, but you don't seem to exactly have it in cash. But you got land, you got monthly income coming up. See, universal income, I'm really not on for universal income. Why do we need universal income when we have group one and group two? You think about it. Yeah, we're not going to need any welfare. By the way, the original meaning of welfare has changed. You know what the original meaning of welfare is? It was about going to a marketplace. It was about going to these neat farmers markets and these other places that were markets, whatever they were, and they were kind of like little fairs. It was about the wellness of yourself, buying foods, goods, trading, whatever. It was financial wellness. That was welfare. We got people, I guess, now going to be scratching their head. They don't understand. But I read the Constitution. That's not food stamps? No. Financial well-being. You see, elections are supposed to be about who has the best stimulus package, not who has the best policy to run around and jack people. You see, I believe in the Constitution of the United States, and I have the most brilliant plan that's 100% constitutional. Just blows the minds of computers. Absolutely incredibly valuable. I've been working on it for years. Let me see, do you think it's important now? Now, who stole it? I've had a lot of people come up making accusations. Mike, they stole your hard drives because they're spies. It's clear. Well, gee, that's kind of hard to prove, but what we can prove beyond the shadow of a doubt is that the event occurred. And see, because of the laws between 1943 and 1947, the deal is if the deed is done, I don't need two people to be direct witnesses that somebody's committed treason. I only need to show that they are connected to the deed that got done in some way. In some way. That's modern treason. That'll make it easy. So people, would you help me today get Gavin Newsom out of my house? And we can immediately put a panel together and start working on the election. What do we need for this election? Do we need, I think we need special elections. I think we need questionnaires on the election to ask people whether they know certain facts. Have they been lied to? We got a huge mess to clean up. We have a lot of questions to ask people. Like, if you qualify for land stock, do you want it? If you qualify to be able to continuously build, say, 7 homes, do you want that? Do you want to give yourself a job? Be able to be an owner-builder and manufacture property, at least for yourself, at 70 cents on the dollar? You see, to me, making new hard assets justifies the printing of cash. It's the original way that the Treasury was designed, that our forefathers designed. It's based upon hard assets. See, that's real stimulus, real growth. There's no efficiency in watching people on the street dying. So, yeah, I got 20% of them covered. Okay, 20% just happened to be of Stewart's blood, so to speak. They paid for the land. This is not a cask system. It's not a this, that. It's a completely equal system. What's equal about it is we opened up our wallets and we paid for all this land. We paid to buy out certain other parties. And then we said, well, those people are all bought out. Now we can deal with whatever little problems are somehow in between where somebody got swindled or whatever. We'll talk about that. We can deal with this now. The greatest land real estate deal in the history of the world at the time. So we can't allow people to come in and say, well, they're communists, they're socialists, we're enlightened. Oh, we're enlightened. It needs to be fair and even. Really? Let's be fair and even, okay? Did your folks pull money out of your wallet to buy this stuff way back in 18 and 19? And no, they didn't, did they? Okay. Were your parents here by 1950 as U.S. citizens paying taxes? No, they weren't. I'm so sorry. Perhaps we're going to make one more group, Group 3, and we, the stewards, can sit down and decide what that's going to look like. But we'll have to vote on it. You see, separate voting for stewards is also crucially important. Again, ladies and gentlemen, my name is Michael Crosby. I'm running for governor. I was running for governor. These people need to get out of my house. I busted them red-handed committing treason. And I want very much to activate an emergency board effective immediately so we can repair California and begin the prosecution cycle and restore law and order to this state.